Today we're going to jump on the bandwagon gleefully with the Louis Theroux documentary he's done about what he's called the Manosphere, and just effectively our thoughts on it. I do think it's important, as I mentioned to Samantha this morning. One of the videos we were watching from HG Tudor demonstrates, if you've seen any of the clips of Louis Theroux, just how expertly he stays silent. And it sounds like a really stupid thing, but his ability to stay silent is exactly what H.G. Tudor uncovers with the narcissist.
Yeah. So just to put into context before we start giving clips, David and I have not watched, or as far as I know, David hasn't, but I
I
definitely
haven't.
haven't watched the exposing the Manosphere content from Louis Theroux. Apparently, it was part of the docuseries that Louis Theroux is known for doing quite controversial subjects like this anyway. Um, uh, so all we've seen is commentary on it so far. So we're going to comment on some of the commentary from the people that we would generally listen to and probably take note of. So we have two clips that we're going to go through. One's quite long, so it's from HG Tudor. If you've not looked him up yet or not seen us referencing him on any of our videos, go look him up. It's HG Tudor, Knowing the Narcissist. If you want to understand a lot of stuff around narcissism, and especially on YouTube or within celebrity functions and even societal functions, it's a really good channel to go and watch and start to kind of understand what that is. But for the purposes of this, we are focusing on the manosphere element with the Louis Theroux documentary. We have already recorded some videos, or we did a conversation last week, did David and I, on red pill, and understanding what the red pill is and how it's turned into this manosphere thing and what the manosphere was, and basically the convergence of a number of ideas that's turned into this toxic thing that some people really struggle to understand it as red pill, because red pill had a completely different meaning, as David alluded to. But we did that in other videos that will come shortly. This one's going to come out first, but we're just going to focus on this element with Louis Theroux. I quite like Louis Theroux. I think he's very good at doing what he does. I believe he's definitely entertainment, but it's interesting the way he approaches things, and as David said, just keeps quiet and lets people just talk. And then people kind of give themselves away because he does that and doesn't probe with questions. And this is what's particularly clever. So, do you want to say anything before I start the clip, David?
No, 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 that's fine.
Cool.
And Louis Theroux is an excellent demonstration of allowing the narcissist to handle themselves by giving them enough rope. And this related to not so much the law of collateral consequences, but the fact of allowing the narcissist's need to dominate in the moment, to assert control in that moment, results in them demonstrating the unpleasant nature, to put it mildly, of what they are. Louis Theroux's program Inside the Manosphere has just arrived on Netflix, and it might be argued that it's the documentarian's most incisive work. It's a 90-minute deep dive into the ultra-masculine online ecosystem of fitness gurus, podcasters, and TikTok rage baiters who monetize resentment towards women, feminism, and the Matrix. It's also fair to say that it's got more than its fair share of narcissists within there. Theroux's approach, polite, wide-eyed curiosity, paired with deliberate, uncomfortable silences, which is Theroux's main weapon with regard to giving the narcissist enough rope, functions very effectively.
Do you love that term?
He interrupts or moralizes. Instead, he lets the men fill the void with their own words, exposing layer after layer of hypocrisy, misogyny, hatred, and narcissism. This technique recurs throughout the film, turning what could be combative shouting matches into self-incriminating monologues.
So before I let it carry on, if you have watched to this far, if you have seen the documentary, by all means comment below, because it'd be interesting for David and I to read that and see what you as viewers are thinking within this area. And then the idea of it being overwhelmingly narcissistic, as opposed to just misogyny or chauvinistic, because I know there's multiple views that people are going to take over the manosphere, and there's plenty of women in the manosphere pushing that kind of manosphere red pill agenda as well. This might be something we cover later down the line, but it's something I've definitely looked massively into over the last couple of years, so I understand that
You'd love
that
listening
bit.
to Pearl.
You know, it's Kelly Brogan and Saya G, absolutely brilliant to listen to because they literally spot on. But that goes into the wellness script, which is the other things that I kind of studied for my other channels. But that's really quite interesting. But like I say, if you've got this idea of give them enough rope, I think is like it's a genius expression, to be fair, because it's true. Like, if you've ever experienced a narcissistic relationship or a narcissistic conversation, then all you need to do is be quiet, because
Yeah,
literally, and just give it time. Because they will give themselves enough rope. Certainly, in my experience, in the things that I've read from professionals who deal with this in a professional setting, i.e., prisons, and things like that. It's really interesting to read their books and how they've understood it from a clinical point of view as well. So that's really interesting. Go on, David. You wanted to say something?
well, I was just going to say the keeping silent thing. If you want to see how it's done by probably one of the best in the world, watch as many of his Louis Theroux's
True.
documentaries as Theroux, whatever his name is. Watch as many of his documentaries as possible, because it really is an art form, and he
Mm,
is exceptionally good at it without anyone realizing in his presence that's what he's doing.
yeah, 100%. Right, I'm going to press play again.